Bass sounds are special because even small changes to the overall harmonic balance can make a huge difference in how we perceive the sound. And this is going to be particularly important if we're working in a genre where bass is one of the more dominant parts of the mix, like say house, for example. Now, inside of Melodyne's sound editor, we have access to a whole bunch of tools that can help us create or shape some really wild bass sounds. So let's take a look at how it works. So today we're just going to start off with a really basic sort of sawtooth waveform because it does have some harmonics, but it's not overall all that interesting. So let's take a listen. So let's go ahead and pull open Melodyne here and make sure that our audio has been transferred into Melodyne. And what I'm going to do here is go up to the top left to the track list and open that up, which will be important just a little bit later. And then also open up the bar graph icon here, which is the sound editor, which is where we'll be able to access some of these cool tools to change our bass here into something more interesting. Now, you can see kind of a visual readout of the harmonic balance of the bass as it stands currently. And what we're going to do is shuffle the spectrum around and then adjust some of these parameters to help facilitate more of an interesting bass sound. So let's go ahead and get this looping, and we'll try to find a new spectrum that we want to stick with for the remainder here. So you can already hear that it's starting to make a big difference, but we can actually make even more of a difference by increasing the contour slider here at the bottom left, which basically increases the height difference between the harmonics. So you can see that everything gets a little bit more extreme, which is kind of what we're going for here because we want to completely change this bass sound. So this is a nice thing to do as you're going through and shuffling to find different spectrums that you like, just to be a little bit more exaggerated with it. We can also bring down this brilliance slider a little bit here. Make it more bass heavy. So maybe we want to stick with something like this. Here's the original. A really quick and dirty way that you can adjust the dynamics is you can go up to this dynamic slider and just tighten up the envelope if you want to. But we can actually dial it in even further if we head over to the synth area. And you can see on the bottom right third of the screen here, you can see the amplitude envelope. And this is where we can get even more specific. So if I kind of drag this down here, we can set the time, or we can even set kind of a hold value here. Or even accentuate the dynamics a little bit where we, give it a small amount of attack and then bring it down really quickly with the decay. So that's a nice way to sort of shape the dynamics of your bass. Now, you can also make some other textures that sort of sound more like they belong in dubstep or something by increasing this comb filter value, right? So already lots of different tonal options for us available. Let's bring the comb filtering all the way back to 0. So let's say we've reached this point with our bass sound that we kind of like. What I like to do from this point is basically record the output of Melodyne into a new audio track. So I have an audio track ready to go here, and I'm just going to record this in. Now that we've got all that ready to go, what I'm going to do is just shuffle this spectrum a few more times until I find another sound that I like, and then we'll kind of morph between the two for even more sonic possibilities, okay? What we're going to do is head over to the synth tab here and go to this spectral envelope over here on the bottom left. And what this is going to do is basically increase the sort of dry wet of the envelope here. So we'll be able to fade between our new bass sound and our new bass sound, right? Our second bass sound. So let's check out what that does. So if I start at the top and bring it down to 0, you'll hear it start with the bass sound we have now and sort of fade into the previous bass sound. Now we can also go the other direction too, where we sort of end up at the new bass, and we start with the old bass here. While we're here too, another cool thing that you can try messing around with is increasing or decreasing the Formant envelope. So if I come right here to the bottom middle here, this graph, and we create a little bit of an envelope to change the Formant. We get some crazy sounds. So you can have lots of fun with each of these envelopes, and they really make a huge difference to the end product. So if we take a listen to the original bass that we had compared to our current bass, so essentially we can use Melodyne to help us create some random sounds and then shape the spectrum in the envelope of those sounds and sort of continue to resample and morph between different versions of it for some really clever sound design. And by the way, this doesn't just stop with bass sounds. I think it caters particularly well that way, but you can use this on a number of things. So I hope you enjoyed this video and that it inspired you to create. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.